Neuroplasticity and Stress Management, Building Resilience. Today we're talking about something most people completely overlook: how stress reshapes the brain and how neuroplasticity gives you the power to reshape it back. Most people think of stress as a moment, an event, a reaction that fades when life calms down. But stress isn't just something that happens to you. It's something your brain learns. Every time you react to pressure, uncertainty, or conflict, your nervous system takes notes. It records the sensations, the behaviors, the coping mechanisms, and if those patterns repeat often enough, your brain wires them in as default responses. This is how stress becomes a system, not just a feeling but a learned identity, and that's where neuroplasticity comes in. Because if your brain can learn to be reactive, overwhelmed, or shut down, it can also learn to stay grounded, adapt faster, and recover quicker. Resilience isn't just a trait, it's a pattern you can rewire. But first, let's make one thing clear: stress isn't the enemy. Your ability to respond to challenge both physically and emotionally is what keeps you alive. The real problem is when that response never shuts off. When your brain starts treating normal life like it's a threat, even when you're safe. This is called chronic activation, and it's more common than most people realize. You wake up already tense. You overthink before anything happens. You feel exhausted after small tasks. That's not weakness. That's a nervous system stuck in a pattern it learned during chaos. Maybe it started in childhood. Maybe it's the result of burnout, emotional wounds, or non-stop crisis. But regardless of where it began, it can be repatterned. Your brain is always listening, and with the right input, it will start to adapt. So the question isn't how do I avoid stress? The question is how do I train my brain to respond to stress differently? That's what we'll break down next. The exact way your nervous system encodes stress, and how small shifts in rhythm, focus, and safety cues can begin to build a new default, one grounded in resilience, not survival. When your body enters stress mode, it's not just reacting, it's recording. Your brain is constantly scanning for patterns. What happened just before this tension? What worked to reduce the pressure? What should I expect next time? This creates what researchers call a stress signature, a personalized loop of physical, emotional, and behavioral responses. And here's the key. The more often that loop runs, the more efficient it becomes. It's like a shortcut and the brain says, oh, pressure, I know this. Tighten the chest, speed up the thoughts, prepare for collapse. This is how stress responses become automatic. Even when the situation doesn't actually require panic, your nervous system hits play on the old tape. But neuroplasticity cuts both ways. If the brain learned to run that tape, it can learn a new one. The rewiring begins when you interrupt the loop, not by force but by introducing new information. Something as simple as a longer exhale during tension, moving your body before overthinking begins, naming what's happening out loud, noticing where the feeling lives in your body without judgment. These micro-interruptions send a different signal to the brain. This moment is different. You're not stuck. You're aware. And awareness is the gateway to rewiring. Because your brain can't change what it doesn't notice. But once it recognizes a pattern, especially one that no longer fits your current reality, it becomes more flexible, more willing to update the script. Before we move on, tap the like button if this is opening something up for you. It helps more people find deeper content like this. And if you want to keep building real resilience, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Next, we'll break down how resilience isn't about avoiding stress. It's about training recovery as a skill. And the fastest rewiring happens when you pair emotional safety with physical rhythm. Most people think resilience is about strength, pushing through, powering forward, staying tough, but that's not what the brain needs. Resilience isn't how well you endure stress, it's how quickly you recover from it. And that recovery isn't automatic. It's a skill your nervous system learns over time, through repetition. When something stressful happens, a tough conversation, a financial hit, a moment of uncertainty, your body reacts. That's normal. But what happens next? Do you stay there for hours, replaying it? Do you collapse into old coping behaviors? Or do you have a system that signals, I'm okay now, we're safe, you can return to baseline? That's where rewiring begins. The nervous system thrives on rhythm and safety. If you give it consistent cues, breathing, grounding, gentle movement, environmental control, it learns to shift gears faster, not just in theory, but biologically. Your vagus nerve begins to respond more efficiently. Your cortisol levels normalize quicker. Your thoughts stop spiraling. That's not mindset, that's mechanism. And you don't need a perfect routine or quiet life to train this, you just need consistency, even small daily reps. Awareness, noticing the moment your stress activates. Recovery rituals, actions your body recognizes as safe. That might mean closing your eyes for 30 seconds, touching something cold, changing your posture, or simply saying out loud, "This is stress, I've felt this before, but I know what to do now." Each time you recover, even slightly faster than before, you're rewiring the loop. You're teaching your system, this doesn't have to spiral, I can move through it. That's resilience, not pushing harder, but returning quicker. And in the final part, we'll talk about how to turn this into a baseline, not just a coping tool. Because when your brain believes it can recover, it stops interpreting challenge as threat and starts treating it as growth. The goal isn't to never feel stress again. The goal is to stop getting trapped there. Let me repeat this. The goal isn't to never feel stress again. The goal is to stop getting trapped there. Because stress isn't just an emotion, it's a memory. Your brain remembers how you've handled pressure before, and unless you give it something new to work with, it will repeat what it knows. That's why recovery is the real rewiring. When you show your nervous system that activation doesn't mean collapse, that discomfort doesn't mean danger, you build a new baseline. One where presence replaces panic, where tension doesn't spiral into shutdown, where hard moments don't hijack your identity. And it doesn't take perfection, it takes consistency. Every time you interrupt the old loop, even briefly, you create a crack in the pattern, a space where a new response can form, and with enough repetition, that response becomes the reflex. So if you felt stuck in reactivity, if you've labeled yourself as anxious or fragile or burnt out, remember, that's not a fixed trait, that's a practiced response, and you can practice something else. This is what neuroplasticity means. Your brain will become whatever you teach it over time. So start small. Make recovery your default. Build rituals your body trusts. And let resilience become something you don't have to force because it's already wired in. If this gave you something real to work with, like the video so more people find it. And if you want more science-backed tools for rewiring your brain, hit subscribe. Because every week, we're breaking down how to build a nervous system you can actually live with. The videos on this channel are for educational and entertainment purposes only. They do not constitute medical, financial, legal, business, or lifestyle advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making changes to your mental health, stress management, or personal routines. All insights are based on current research and may evolve over time.